Have you ever wondered how the local dimming works on the Samsung Odyssey G7? Today we have a local dimming test on the Samsung Odyssey G7 with it on and off, and also versus the Dell S3220DGF, so you can see the difference for yourself on the quality of the G7 panel with local dimming on, plus the amazing black equalizer option and the amazing contrast that it provides. Here we have the monitor menu on both monitors, so you can see how I have it set up with local dimming on the G7, as the S32 does not have any local dimming whatsoever. You can see that the new firmware of 1011.0 is on the G7 with the brightness and contrast at max level to give you the worst case scenario with this amazing panel, as it has a black equalizer at 12 in custom mode, while we have it on game mode on the S32 with standard settings. As you can see, it's 85 on contrast because anything above that will clip the whites and we don't want that. So again, with local dimming on the G7, you can see how amazing the contrast looks. Now the G7 only has 7 vertical dimming zones, so it's not a lot, and when the bright highlights happen with the fireworks, you can see some blooming at the top and bottom of the middle of the screen. Now it looks more pronounced right now because it's on an angle, but I will have a video up shortly to show you the differences of how it would look in real world. Now here is a close-up of the screens. You can see right here how much contrast the local dimming provides with the G7. If you see a little bit of haloing on the left side of the screen, that is because the fireworks are going on at both panels right now, and you can see the fluctuation with the blooming on the G7, while the S32 is just a standard VA gray panel, as it cannot get true black because this is not OLED, nor does it have any local dimming whatsoever. You can see right here also the blooming effect at the top left of the screen on the G7, but again, in real world it doesn't really look that pronounced, but it's there, and that's what's coming up on the screen so you can see for yourself. Now I would leave it on all the time. I usually do when I play my G7 with anything, movies or games, and that has never bothered me whatsoever. And this is how it would look in real world. And again, I would say this is worst case scenario. As you saw, the brightness and contrast was at a 100%. You can lower it to your liking, and I would say it's 20 to 30% less pronounced with the blooming in real world. But again, you got to see it for yourself, or if you have this monitor, just enable it so you can see what I'm talking about. And here I have it with local dimming off, so you can see both panels look the same. Now there is some kind of glow at the top of the screen, and again, that is because we are at an angle. They are both curved screens. The G7 is at 1000 R curve, while the S32 is at 1800 R curve. They're not flat, and the camera is focused on the middle to show you, but that glow is not there in real world. And again, if you do have the S32 and you want it to get looking close to like the G7, all you gotta do is go to the Nvidia control panel, lower the brightness, I would say to 47, higher the contrast to 55, 57, and if you want a little bit of punch in that color, just add some digital vibrance to plus 55, plus 57. You don't want to go and stray too far, too high or too low from these settings, just because the monitor can only do so much and you don't want to have it too fake. But again, do what you got to do, try it, add more, add less to your liking. And the screens you're seeing here is local dimming on the G7 with a black equalizer at 12, while on the S32 I have it in the Nvidia control panel, plus 47 brightness, plus 57 contrast, and plus 55 digital vibrance. Again, you can tweak this more inside the monitor. You can add saturation, you can change the tint of the monitor. This is not 100%, this is just me connecting the monitors and trying to show you of what the local dimming would provide. But it's very close, and I would say from these two screens, the Dell is pushing a greenish push while the G7 has a red push. Again, with both of those settings, you can dial them down in the Nvidia control panel or on the monitor themselves to make them look closer together, but you can only see that as a difference if you have them side by side. And remember, every panel is different. Your G7 or your S32 could have a cooler or warmer tone on the same settings. So just be aware of that. You have to make sure that it's tailored to your liking, and you know what looks right. I mean, you know what red looks and what blue looks and what green looks. You know how they're all supposed to look, and if a monitor has a certain push, you just gotta dial it down. But here I'm just showing the local dimming, the power of the local dimming. But again, look how beautiful the S32 looks. If you fix it in the Nvidia control panel, they look very similar. And also you can see the 1000 R curve of the G7 versus the 1800 R curve on the Dell S32, and it's more pronounced at 1000, but once you have it in front of you, it's not that big of a deal. It does get immersive, but we're all used to flat panels, so an S32 of a 1800 R curve or even 1500 R is more natural, I would say. But if you love the curve, you'll feel right at home on the G7. You could even see at the top of the monitor how it bends right in the middle. And that's just to keep everything equal and even from your eye's distance to the monitor itself. But here's showing the contrast power of both. The G7 does have more color. It is a 95% of DCI-P3 color coverage versus the Dell S32's 90%. And you can see it on a monitor level. Yes, you can fake it by adding software color and software brightness and all that, but nothing beats the actual panel performance. And you all know the speed and beauty of the G7's fast VA panel that does have no smear versus the Dell S32's little bit of smear. But you can't go wrong with either of these panels. They're on sale. They're at very good prices right now, especially for the holidays coming up. Just with the Dell S32, make sure you do get at least an A03 June Plus panel, and that can do 1440p at 120Hz being the major breakthrough with that panel. And the G7, make sure you update if you need to the firmware 1011.0 to get the improved picture quality of the VRR option to remove flicker from the G-Sync range of 80 to 240 Hz. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you never miss out on a future Samsung Odyssey G7 or Dell S3220DGF video. And don't forget to check out the playlist so you can see more games and applications to help you make an awesome buying decision. I'll see you guys next time.